Now, I asked this question one other time on this channel, and no one was able to answer it, or nobody did answer it, put it that way. So I'm going to ask it again. The question's kind of funky. It evolves around the letter H, and I don't know how that happened. Can't remember too good. And it obviously is directed toward a man named Harry. So that's all I can tell you about the question. So like I say, I asked it before, but nobody was able to answer it, or didn't answer it. So I'm going to ask it one more time, see if any of you guys know the answer. We got more new subscribers. Maybe someone knows the answer. The question is, how do you handle a hungry hog going for Herbert Hoover, who's a down-home hairy ham and a half on a hell of a hippie hammer handle holder? Harry. Alright, well, welcome back to the house that never sleeps. Folks, it's coming around this time of year again when we start cranking our heaters up, drying out all the air in the house, and drying out our guitars. Especially acoustic guitars. This is not so much for solid body electric guitars. Now, hollow body and semi-hollow body, yes. But most electric guitars, well, some of them, the only thing really you'd have to worry about would be the fretboard, if it's got an open grain fretboard on it or not. Other than that, you wouldn't have to worry. But acoustic guitars is a whole different story. So, you know, wintertime comes, we crank the heat up, dries the air out in our house, and I've already got videos up, two that I can think of, about when and how and why you should humidify your guitar and what happens if you don't. Maybe three. I don't know for sure, but I've got videos on that. That's not what this is about. This is just about a few tips about questions coming up about, you know, well, I humidified my guitar and it's still, the crack didn't go away or nothing changed. People don't realize in an acoustic guitar, you know, if it's dried out and got big cracks and crap in it, chances are it's taken that guitar years to get that way. You know, and you're not going to put a humidifier down inside it, and if you were around outside it in the case, you're not going to humidify that guitar in a couple of days. If it's that dried out, you're not going to humidify it in a couple of months. People don't realize the moisture content in the wood, inside the wood. When that gets that dried out so much that it starts cracking and come apart and gets brittle, then, you know, like I say, a good chance it's taken years for that to happen. And it's going to take some time to get that moisture content back up. You know, you can take a guitar that's really dry, stick a humidifier in it, put a something plastic over the hole like that won't absorb moisture, and leave it for a week. Come back, take the humidifier out, air it out, put a digital humidity gauge like that in the hole, cover the hole back up, and you got to give that about 24 hours to work. And come back and you're going to find out that the humidity levels you thought you had in there have dropped. That wood has soaked up what moisture it could, and you know, then it starts leveling out as time goes by. 24 hours, 48 hours or so to get a good reading, accurate one. And you know, you're just not going to humidify it in a couple of days or a couple of weeks, and sometimes a couple of months, because it's taken that, you know, years for that guitar to get in that condition. And you know, I can't make people understand that sometimes it's going to take you several months to get the humidity levels in the wood built back up to 45 to 55% and maintain that. That's the key. You can get the humidity gauge like this to read 45 to 55% in just a couple or 3 days of humidifying your guitar. But like I said, watch that. When you take the humidifier out, that's going to drop like a rock. Well, it'll take it, you know, 48 hours or so before you really see it, because the wood is not finished soaking up the moisture. You know, it's still dry. It needs more. Another good thing you can do is weigh your guitar. If you have a really dry guitar, weigh it. Get a set of scales. I've got a set, but they're not in here. Just a little set of scales. Weigh the guitar. Record that, write it down, and then humidify it properly. Get the right moisture content in there, 45-55%, maintained without any help. And then weigh that guitar again. I can even feel like a difference in the weight of one. You know, like that, what was that D42 that I had in here a while back? That guitar came here and it was as light as a feather. when it left, I think the owner even noticed how much heavier it was, and that also affects the sound big time of a guitar, an acoustic guitar. So, you know, think about how long it's taken your guitar to get that dry, and realize you're not going to get it back up, you know, to normal humidity levels, which is 45 to 55%. You're not going to do that in a short period of time, because it was not a short period of time that guitar took to get that way. You know what I mean? Cue Ball's outside. If you can hear her barking probably through the... Well, she quits now. There you go. Try this. Put your humidity gauge in the guitar. Cover the hole, if it has a hole, or F-holes, whatever, with something that will not absorb moisture. Leave it in there for like 48 hours, and then come back and you'll get a true reading of what the moisture content in the wood of that guitar is. I got a couple of them here. This is an old Taylor. I've showed it before. And this is a new one. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say. One of you guys sent me this one, and I can't remember if I can tell you who that is or not, so I'm not going to say. You know who you are. Thank you, brother. I use it every day. But yeah, if you just stick one of those down in the hole, cover the hole over with something that doesn't absorb moisture, leave that for 48 hours. If you look at it then and it's got between 45 and 55%, you're good to go, man. But you're not going to get that if it's like 30%, 25%. It's going to take you a long time, several weeks, if not months, to get that built up to maintain between 45 and 55% by itself without any help. Because, you know, the wood, the moisture, when you humidify a guitar, the moisture hits that bare wood in there, okay, and it soaks it in. Well, if you've had it in there for like 3 or 4 days or a week, you take the humidifier out, all that bare wood in there is pretty heavily concentrated, the moisture on the outer edge of the wood. It's very hard to explain. And when you put a gauge in it, that's what it's going to read. Over time, that moisture will be absorbed by the wood, by the top, the back, the sides, and your humidity reading will be lower. I hope that makes sense. I don't feel like I'm explaining it very good. I know what I'm talking about, I just can't tell you. But yeah, and weigh your guitar. Before you humidify it, weigh it. And then after you're finished humidifying it, weigh it again. Check the difference out, and you can tell exactly how much water. You would be amazed at how much an acoustic guitar, if it's dried out pretty bad, how much water it actually can take on and hold and carry. Like I say, I can tell they get heavier. I can feel it. I'm thinking that D42 was one, and there's a couple others just recently that I humidified them. Noticed the weight went way up. I could just feel it, you know. But there's just some tips and points on humidifying your acoustic and semi-hollow body and hollow body guitars. And electrics, if you got open grain fretboard, you want to keep an eye on that. They can crack. They do crack. I've seen them do it bad. It can be bad. And anyways, I hope that's everything. I can't think of anything else for this. Anyways, yeah, it's that time of year, man. You're going to start cranking. We're already cranking the heat up. It's cold outside here tonight. And this is just the beginning of October. But it's better than the 90-degree days we was having in September. I'll take this weather. I'm ready for it. I'm rambling again. Cheers. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps, and I'll see you soon. By the way, if I can remember to do it, I'll put links in the description down below to those two humidifying videos. I know I've got 2. I might have 3. I think 2 of them is on humidifying guitars, and the other one I'm thinking about, I think, is what will happen to your guitar if you don't humidify it or keep it humidified. Something like that. Anyways, I'll put links to all 3 of those down below, down here, so you can look at those videos if you want to, because it's that time of year. You need to check that and stay up on it. Keep giving your guitars drinks of water. Woo-hoo, the boogity bop.